Welcome dear students. Let's continue with the sums of exercise 2.4. Okay. Now looking to the problem given, find the condition that one of the roots of ax squared plus bx plus c may be negative of the other, and we have three subdivisions over here to be discussed. Okay. Now we have to sort out the condition for this equation. You know this is the general equation of a quadratic equation. Okay. Now the given information is one of the root. Yes, one of the root of this equation is negative of the other. Okay. So in general we know that alpha comma beta are the roots of what? Ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, isn't it? Alpha comma beta are the roots of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is in general. Okay, and we have many specifications regarding the roots. Now under this question we have one of the root is negative of the other root. Okay, so by given condition I can take alpha comma minus alpha are the roots of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Can I? Now this is general form. What is this? General form. In general we have alpha comma beta, but very specifically it is given one root is negative of the other. Okay. Now we know that sum of the roots is equal to, it is given by the condition minus b divided by a. Already we have seen in the last video, isn't it? Okay. So sum of roots is equal to minus b by a. Now this, it is in the general equation given ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So we have the sum of roots to be minus b by a. According to the roots given here, what will be the sum of the roots? Alpha minus alpha will be equal to minus b by a. Do you agree? Do you agree this? Because I have to add these two roots, isn't it? One root is alpha, the other root is minus alpha. So I get alpha plus minus alpha, that is alpha minus alpha. Alpha minus alpha is equal to 0. So what do I get? Minus b by a. Is that no? Okay. Now we can sort out this as condition because we have to find the condition, isn't it? So 0 is equal to minus b by a. So this implies what will be our next step? Minus b will be equal to 0. Do you agree? Because a into 0 will be equal to 0. So minus b is equal to 0. Again I can demand b is equal to 0. Is that no? B is equal to 0. Okay. So this is going to be our condition, that is if the root of one of the root is negative of the other, then automatically the b will be equal to 0. Now this is sufficient for proving the condition of the first subdivision. Shall we move on to the second subdivision now? Okay students, let's discuss the second subdivision now. Thrice the other. Okay, one root is thrice the other. So what does this mean? So given one root is alpha comma 3 alpha, thrice the other, 3 times of the other root. If one root is going to be alpha, thrice the other root, 3 times of the same alpha are the roots. Are the roots of what? Which equation are the roots of? Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay. So we know that, again we know that alpha plus 3 alpha will be equal to minus b by a. Yes or no? Now alpha plus 3 alpha is equal to 4 alpha is equal to minus b by a. From this I can claim alpha will be equal to minus b by a into 4. So that I can rewrite this as 4 if it comes to this side, this becomes 4a. So alpha is equal to minus b divided by 4a. Yes or no? Okay. Now we know that the product of the roots, isn't it? So alpha into 3 alpha will be equal to c divided by a. We know this condition, c divided by a. So alpha into 3 alpha is equal to 3 alpha squared is c divided by a. Okay, now look into this. We have found the value of alpha, isn't it? So I am going to substitute this alpha value in this condition. So I will get 3 into, or else shall we have only alpha squared alone this side LHS? Alpha squared will be equal to c divided by 3a. It's not a problem if you hold the 3 here itself. If you bring it on to that side also, it's not a problem. Okay, now substitute alpha squared is equal to c divided by 3a. I'm going to substitute the alpha value. Alpha squared, isn't it? So minus into minus will become plus. B into b will be b squared. 4a the whole squared will be 16a squared. So I will get b squared divided by 16a squared. Do you agree? From this, I have got the value of alpha square, c divided by 3a. Okay, now I have to bring it into the condition format, isn't it? So I am going to have the b squared alone this side. So 16a squared c divided by 3a. This a and this a is getting cancelled. So I get b squared is equal to 16ac divided by 3, or else again 3b squared is equal to 16ac will be the condition for if the one root is thrice the other. So it's not a problem if you hold the 3 here itself. Okay, is it clear? Okay, students, let's discuss the third subdivision. One root is reciprocal of the other. Okay, so by the given information, if alpha be one root, 1 by alpha will be the other root because the reciprocal of the first root. So alpha comma 1 by alpha are the roots of which equation? Same equation, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Okay, now look into this. The same model, we are going to find the sum of the root and the product of the roots. Now we are doing this sum in order to get the condition, isn't it? On seeing the roots itself, if we go for product of the roots, alpha into 1 by alpha, this alpha and alpha will be getting cancelled, isn't it? So we will come to a very short conclusion of the condition in order to prove this result. Okay, so we will go for product of the roots. No problem if you start with sum of roots. Sum of roots, okay, is equal to minus b by a. So what will be the sum of roots? Alpha plus 1 by alpha will be equal to minus b by a. Here we have to go for a few simplifications in order to arrive the condition. So let's have this as it is. Okay. Now let's discuss the product of the roots now. Looking to the product of the roots is equal to c divided by a. So alpha into 1 by alpha is equal to c divided by a. Now this alpha and alpha is getting cancelled. So we get 1. 1 is equal to c divided by a. So this implies a will be equal to c if this a is multiplied towards this side. Okay. Now what does this shows to us is if the value of a and c are equal, then we can guess that one root is reciprocal of the other. If not simultaneously, vice versa, we can check that if the roots are reciprocal to each other, then the values of a and c are equal. Okay, shall we move on to the next sum? Students, let's discuss the seventh sum now. Look into this sum. If x squared minus ax plus b equal to 0 and x squared minus ex plus f is equal to 0 have one root in common, and if the second equation has equal roots, then prove that ae equal to 2 times of b plus f. Okay, so the first here they have given two conditions to be discussed. The first one is the two equations are given here. X squared minus ax plus b is equal to 0 is one equation, and x squared minus ex plus f is equal to 0 is one other equation. And these two equations have one root in common. Either any of the root, first root or second root should be in common. And the other condition is, and if the second equation has equal roots, they should have, the second equation should have equal roots. With this we have to prove this result. Let's see how we are going to prove it. Very simple sum. Now according to the equation given, so it is given x squared minus ax plus b is equal to 0. This equation will have two roots, isn't it? Since the power of the equation is 2 and it is a quadratic equation, so definitely alpha comma beta are the roots. Yes or no? Are the roots. Now, according to this equation, what will be alpha plus beta, sum of the roots? That is minus b by a, isn't it? So, minus b divided by a. Now, what is in the place of b now? You know the general equation, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Yes or no? So, in the place of a, I have 1. In the place of b, I have minus a. In the place of c, I have b. So, be very careful. So, alpha plus beta will be equal to minus of minus a divided by, in the place of a, I have 1. Isn't it? Yes. So, alpha plus beta will be equal to plus a. Do you agree? Yes. Okay. Now, in the same equation, I am going to find the product of the roots. So, alpha into beta will be equal to what? What is in the place of c now? B. In the place of c, I have b. So, by the formula, I have c by a. Alpha beta will be equal to, now only I am going to substitute. In the place of c, I have b. In the place of a, I have 1. So, b divided by 1. So, what will be alpha beta now? B. Did you understand properly? Understand it in the correct sense? So, now here in the place of A, B and C, first take and write what is given to be A, B and C. Okay, if not, I will write it here. From this, A will be equal to 1, B will be equal to minus A and C will be equal to B. Did you understand? So, from this only I have brought the values of this. Okay, now take and keep the values of alpha plus beta to be A and alpha beta to be B. Is it clear? Now we are going to use this in order to prove the results. We have considered the first equation. And brought into these values. Now we are going to discuss with the second equation. Shall we? Yes. Okay, now let's discuss the second equation. Now given what is the equation? X squared minus ex plus f is equal to 0. Isn't it? So now I'll write it here. From this equation, what are the values of a, b and c? A will be equal to 1, b will be equal to minus e and c will be equal to what? F. Do you agree? Okay. Now for the second equation, they have given both the roots are equal. They have equal roots. Yes or no? Okay. So now by given information, I can claim alpha comma alpha are the roots. Yes, are the roots of second equation. Do you agree? Yes. Now what will be the sum of the roots and the product of the roots? We'll discuss. So now sum, what will be the sum now? Sum will be equal to minus b by a. Yes. So alpha plus alpha will be equal to, what is the value of b? Minus of minus e will become plus e divided by what? 1. Yes or no? So what you will get? 2 alpha is equal to e. Yes, alpha is equal to, or else let's have that 2 alpha is equal to e. Okay. Now we found the value of 2 alpha is equal to e. Okay. Now let's find the product of the roots now. Product. What will be the product? C divided by A, isn't it? So alpha into alpha will become alpha square. What will be the C value? F. F divided by 1. So I got the value of alpha square to be what? F. Is it clear for you? Okay. So we found the values now. Now we are going to substitute all the values. What are the values we have found? So now look into this. Alpha plus beta is equal to, we got it as A. Alpha beta is equal to B. What is the next one? 2 alpha is equal to E. And what is the next one? Alpha squared is equal to F. These are the values, we got it, isn't it? Now we are going to prove this result. AE is equal to 2 times of B plus F. Okay. Now let us consider the LHS. What is the LHS now? AE. Yes or no? Now, I am going to substitute the values of A and E. Now, what is the value of A? Alpha plus beta. Shall I substitute? Alpha plus beta. Now, what is the value of E now? It is 2 alpha. Yes or no? I have substituted, isn't it? Now, I am going to multiply. So, 2 alpha into alpha is 2 alpha squared plus 2 alpha beta. Yes or no? Okay. Now, 2 is common. Shall we take it outside? So, the rest is alpha squared plus alpha beta. Do you agree? Okay. Now, 2 into, now check for alpha squared value. It is F. Plus, what is the alpha beta value? It is B. Is that no? So, I have proved the result now. AE is equal to 2 times of F plus B, or since it is the addition, F plus B is also equal to B plus F. We can rewrite it according to the result what is asked. Is it clear, students? Okay, students, let's discuss this condition before getting into the 8th sum. Okay, already what you have learned in your 10th standard, just the same old. Okay, let's recapitulate. Now, the new word is discriminant. This discriminant is nothing but it's a part of the quadratic formula. It is a part of the quadratic. Now look into this, b squared minus 4ac. Do you remember this b squared minus 4ac? You will get it into the quadratic formula. So this is the part of the quadratic formula. So we say it as a discriminant. It is denoted by the letter, capital letter D. Okay, now based on this condition only, we are going to analyze the result of the nature of the roots. Okay, now what are the conditions? The discriminant value, that is b squared minus 4ac, can be positive, 0 or negative. Yes or no? In other words, we have learned in our 10th standard very simply, b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. So, if this condition is satisfied, we can demand that d is equal to or d is greater than 0. The same way d will be equal to 0 and d is less than 0. Okay. So, if the value of the discriminant is positive, I can demand the nature of the root is real and distinct. It is real and distinct. What is the meaning of distinct? Distinct is different. Those two roots will be different. Okay. Now, if the discriminant value is equal to 0, then I can demand the roots are real and equal. Both the roots will be equal. Okay. If the discriminant value is negative, then we don't have the real roots. We have the complex roots. What you will learn in your 12th standard. So, in general, I can say that it has no real roots. Is it clear for you, students? Shall we get into the problems of 8th one? Yes. Okay, students, let's discuss the nature of the roots now. First subdivision, I'll work out the first subdivision. The rest of the two, you can work it out. Okay. Now, first one is minus x squared plus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. If you want to change this equation, quadratic equation, of course you can change it. Throughout we can multiply it by minus. If not, we are going to assume the values of a, b and c, isn't it? So, you can hold the values as it is. Okay. Now, from this equation given, what is the equation? Minus x squared plus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. So, I am going to keep this equation as it is and I am going to determine the nature of the root now. So, from this a is equal to minus 1. Yes or no? B is equal to 3. Yes, and c is equal to what? 1. Okay, is it clear? Now, I am going to find the discriminant value, that is d. D is equal to b squared minus 4ac. So, now what will be the value of b now? 3. 3 the whole squared minus 4 into minus 1 into 1. So, 3 squared is 9, isn't it? Now, minus 4 into minus 1 into 1 will become minus 4. Okay. So, now 9 plus 4. So, now what is the value of d now? D is equal to 13, which is greater than 0. That is, it is positive. So, I can demand that the nature of the root is what? Yes, the nature of the roots are real and distinct. Real and distinct. Did you understand? Yes, very simple to identify the nature of the roots now. Now, look into this. First, you see the equation and take and write A, B, C values, then it will be easy for you to work out. Now, if any of the term is missing, if completely missing, for example, third subdivision, look into the third subdivision, you have 9x squared plus 5x is equal to 0. Okay, now look into this, I have the A value, I have the B value, but C value is missing. So, instead of C, I will substitute C is equal to 0. Is it clear? Will you try the rest of the two sums as homework? Yes, please. Okay, students, let's discuss ninth sum before getting into that. Okay, now let's refresh. Now, already we have learned the graph drawing parabola in our 10th standard. You have seen the graphs, isn't it? Okay. Now, what is the shape of the parabola curve? It is a U-shaped parabola curve. It is a U-shaped parabola. Okay. Now, we are going to discuss the nature of the roots will decide the structure of the parabola. Okay. I repeat, the nature of the roots will decide the structure or where it has to be placed on the x-axis, whether it intersects or does not intersect at 2 points or 1 point or does not intersect the x-axis. Okay, now we'll discuss. Now, if the nature of the root is real and distinct, if the nature of the roots are real and distinct, when do we get this result? That is, D will be greater than 0. If the discriminant value is greater than 0, the roots are real and distinct. When this happens, we can observe the parabola intersects the x-axis at 2 points. Intersects the x-axis at 2 points. Now look into this. If it is going to be the graph, now this will be the structure of the parabola, that is the U-shaped curve will intersect the x-axis. You know this, both are x-axis, this is x and x dash, isn't it? Okay, it will meet at the, intersect at the 2 points. Okay, now look into the next condition now, real and equal. When does this happen? If D is equal to 0. If the value of D is equal to 0, the nature of the roots are real and equal, then the parabola touches the x-axis at 1 point alone, touches the x-axis at 1 point. That means real and equal. If the value of one value is 4, the other value will also be equal to 4. This is the meaning of real and equal, isn't it? So, in this case, the graph, see, look into this, the graph will touch at the single point. Okay, you might have seen the graph, you just recollect your memories by seeing the 10th standard graph. Okay, so it will intersect at only 1 point. Okay, now if doesn't have the real roots, if it doesn't have the real roots, that is, when does not have real roots, it is D less than 0. I told you, you will have the complex roots, isn't it? So now if it has no real roots, then the graph does not meet the x-axis, it will not touch the x-axis. So our graph will be like this, it will be hanging on like this. Okay, the parabola does not meet the x-axis. Okay, so now there are two methods. Okay, first, on seeing the question, we can draw the graph and then we can come to the conclusion whether the parabola intersects x-axis at 2 point or 1 point and does not meet the x-axis. In this 9th sum, they are asking us, without plotting the points as graph, you have to decide and tell us what will be the structure of the parabola on the x-axis. Okay, let's discuss and see how we are going to plot out the parabola. Okay. Okay, students, let's discuss now 9th sum. First subdivision is y is equal to x squared plus x plus 2. Okay, the equation, as I told you already, as soon as you see the equation, take and write what is A. A value is 1, isn't it? B value is also 1 and C value is 2. Is it clear, students? Okay. First, let us find the value of the discriminant, that is D value. That is D is equal to B squared minus 4AC. Okay. Now, shall we find B squared is 1 the whole squared minus 4 into A value is again 1 and C value is 2. Now, look into this. 1 squared is 1 minus 4 2s are 8. So, it is equal to minus 7, which is less than 0. So, since D is less than 0, what I can conclude? The roots are not real, isn't it? The roots are not real. If the roots are not real, then the given graph or the parabola does not meet the x-axis. Okay, therefore, the parabola, what I can conclude? Therefore, the parabola does not meet x-axis. Does not meet x-axis. Did you understand now? Okay, without plotting the points in the graph, we came to a conclusion whether the parabola will meet the x-axis or not. Okay, one more sum we'll discuss. The same way, what is the value of A now? 1. Look into the value of B, minus 3. What is the value of C? Minus 7. Yes, now we'll find the D value. It is B squared minus 4AC. It is B squared minus 3 the whole square minus 4 into 1 into minus 7. So minus 3 the whole square is 9. Minus of minus will become plus. 4 7s are 28. Isn't it? So now what will be the value now? 37. So D is equal to 37, which is greater than 0. Now if it is greater than 0, how about the roots now? Roots are real and distinct, isn't it? Real and distinct. If the roots are real and distinct, what we can conclude about the parabola now? If the roots are real and distinct, the parabola will meet x-axis where? At 1 point or 2 point, meet x-axis at 2 points. Do you remember? If it is greater than 0, the x-axis will meet the points, x-axis at 2 points. Is it clear, students? So the next sum you can try it as homework. Okay, students, let's discuss the 10th sum now. F of x is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. We have to express this in completed square form. Completed square form is nothing but square completion method, already what we have learnt in our earlier classes. Okay, so I repeat, completed square form is same as square completion form. Square completion form. Do you remember? First, in order to move on to the square completion method or completed square method, we have some certain procedures. Do you remember that? Let's recapitulate. First one, I have to check the given equation. I have to check the given equation, quadratic equation, whose coefficient of x square should be always what? Should be 1. Should be 1. This is very, very important. So the coefficient of x squared should be 1. If not, I have to bring it into the form in such a way, the coefficient of x squared is 1. If I want to divide it, I have to divide with the necessary constant, which will help us to make this coefficient of x squared as 1. Okay. So now first condition is that. The next one, I have to see the coefficient of x. Coefficient of x, and I have to divide the coefficient of x by 2. Okay, so what is the second condition? Divide the x coefficient by 2. Is it clear for you? Okay. So now after dividing it, what is the third one I have to do? After dividing, so now I have to add, I have to square the coefficient of x divided by 2. I have to square the number coefficient of x divided by 2, what I have done in my second step. Okay. The next one is add and subtract. What I have to add and subtract? Coefficient of x divided by 2. The whole square. I have to add and subtract coefficient of x, because in this step I am squaring coefficient of x by 2, isn't it? The next step I am going to add and subtract coefficient of x by 2 the whole square. Okay, then after this the last step is make some simple simplification or modification in order to come to the result. Is it clear? Okay, check. Now these are the points to be, procedures has to be followed in order to do the square completion form or completed square form. Shall we proceed on to this sum now? Yes. Okay students, now let's check this sum now. Look into the sum. It is given to be f of x is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. Is it clear? Okay. So, since it is given to be f of x, usually we used to have the quadratic equation to be equal to 0. But here we have f of x. We know that y is equal to f of x. In the graph we have used it. Do you remember? Okay. So, now we are going to assume y is equal to f of x. Therefore, this star equation will become, how does it become? Y is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 4. This y plays a very important role here. Okay. You will see at last. Okay. So, now x squared plus 5x plus 4. Now, I have checked the equation. The x squared coefficient is 1. So, there is no issue in this. So, I can just hold the equation as it is. The next procedure is I am going to divide x coefficient by 2. What is the coefficient of x now? 5. So, divide this 5 by 2. Okay. What is the third procedure? I am going to square the coefficient of x divided by 2. What is the next procedure? I am going to add and subtract the coefficient of x by 2 the whole square. So, these things we are going to do it here. So, y is equal to x square plus 5x plus 5 by 2 the whole square minus 5 by 2 the whole square plus 4. Do you agree? Yes or no? Look into this. I have divided the coefficient of x and then whole square. And then the next procedure I have added and subtracted. Okay. Now, we are going to simplify now. Y is equal to x squared plus 5x plus 5 by 2 the whole square. Now, look into this. Shall we club this using an identity? Okay. Now, I will club and tell you. Listen. X plus 5 by 2 the whole square. I have clubbed this term as x plus 5 by 2 the whole square. Now, this is of the form a plus b the whole square. Yes or no? Okay, you just expand this and see whether you get this term. Now, a plus b the whole square is a square plus b square. So, a square plus b square term is here. Okay. The next one is 2 times of a into b. So, 2 into 1 into 5 divided by 2. So, 2 and 2 is getting cancelled. So, I will get 5x. Okay. So, now I have clubbed these 3 terms into single term x plus 5 by 2 the whole square. The remaining terms are minus 5 by 2 the whole square is nothing but minus 25 by 4 plus 4. Yes or no? Okay. Now, look into this. This minus is not inside the bracket. It is outside the bracket. So, this minus cannot be added with square term. So, that is why I have retained the minus as it is. Now, we can add these 2 terms. They are in fraction, isn't it? Okay. Now, let us check. So, now y is equal to x plus 5 by 2 the whole square. Now, I am going to club this since it is a fraction. 4 into 4. If I take LCM, it will become 16, isn't it? So, now minus 25 plus 16 divided by 4. Do you agree? Yes or no? Okay. So, what will be the answer? Y is equal to x plus 5 by 2 the whole square minus 25 plus 16 will give you minus 9. So, it is minus 9 divided by 4. Okay. Now, I am going to take this minus 9 by 4 to that side. So, now I will get y plus 9 by 4 is equal to x plus 5 by 2 the whole square. Now, this is going to be a required completed square form. Is it clear for you, students? Okay. Okay, students, we are going to discuss, find the number of solutions of x squared plus modulus of x minus 1 is equal to 1. This is an example sum, slightly different sum. What we have discussed in our earlier class regarding the absolute value. Now, look into this. Look the power of this equation. It is 2. Isn't it? So, what the power is will be the number of solution. So, this equation will have 2 number of solutions. So, now we are going to prove that. Okay, justify that. How come this equation will have 2 number of solution? Okay, on seeing the equation itself, we can come to the conclusion how many number of solutions will be there. Anyhow, we are going to prove this. Okay, for this proof, we are going to discuss, since it is given to be the modulus value, that is absolute value, we are going to discuss the cases as case 1 and case 2. In the case 1, I am going to take it that x value is greater than equal to 1. Greater than or equal to 1. Is it clear for you? Okay. Okay, students. So, in case 1, we will discuss x is greater than or equal to 1. So, you understood x is greater than or equal to 1 implies x is greater than 0, isn't it? So, we have discussed already what is the modulus of x value. Modulus of x value will be positive x if it is greater than 0, and it will be minus x if it is less than 0. Yes or no? Okay. So, now if x is greater than or equal to 1, I can demand that modulus of, that is absolute value of x minus 1 will be equal to x minus 1. Do you agree? Since the condition is greater than or equal to 1. Okay. Now, modulus of x minus 1 is equal to x minus positive x minus 1. So, in this equation, I can rewrite it as x squared plus, instead of modulus of x minus 1, I can rewrite it as x minus 1. Isn't it? Now equal to 1, if that 1 comes to this side, this becomes again minus 1 equal to 0. So what I will get? X square plus x minus 2 is equal to 0. Yes or no? So now I am going to factorize this equation using simple factorization minus 2. So if I multiply two numbers, I should get minus 2. If I add two numbers, I should get plus 1. Plus 1. So what are those two numbers? Is it plus 2 and minus 1? Do you agree? So now look into this. Plus 2 into minus 1 will be minus 2. Plus 2 minus 1 is plus 1. So what are the values now? X plus 2 into x minus 1 equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 2 comma 1. Yes or no? Okay. Since I have assumed that x is greater than or equal to 1, now this value x minus 2 is not possible. Therefore, x is equal to 1 is one solution. Yes or no? It is one part of the solution. Okay. Now, let's discuss the second case now. In the second case, what shall we discuss now? Check it. Second case, x is less than 1. Yes. Okay. Now, if this is going to be less than 1, automatically x value is less than 0. Yes or no? Maybe less than 1 is less than, I can assume, isn't it? Okay. Positive 1. Okay. Now, so this modulus of x minus 1, I can claim it as minus x plus 1. Yes or no? Okay. So, can I rewrite this as 1 minus x instead of absolute value of x minus 1? Okay. Now again I am going to substitute in the equation x square. Instead of absolute value, I can rewrite it as 1 minus x minus 1 equal to 0. Yes or no? Now plus 1 and minus 1 is getting cancelled. So I get x squared minus x is equal to 0. Again, if I take x common, I'll get x minus 1 equal to 0. Yes or no? Okay. Now what will be the values now? X is equal to 1 and x is equal to 0. Now x will not be equal to 1 because I have taken that x is less than 1. Okay. So therefore x is equal to, this cannot be possible. X is equal to 0 is another solution. Yes or no? So now altogether how many number of solutions I have? 2 solutions. Therefore this equation consists of 2 number of solution. 2 number of solutions. Is it clear for you, students? So we have learned, we have refreshed this example sum with the absolute value, and we have learned the nature of the roots, and we have learned how to plot the parabola without sketching into the graph, and we can segregate whether it intersects the x-axis at 2 points or 1 point. Okay. So go through all these sums which are very simple and easy to learn. Thank you, students.